Hello, everybody, and thank you again for joining us in this safe series that we are in. Today, we are going to talk about Boaz. So, we are studying Ruth, and we're talking about how Ruth was a safe person. And I know if you haven't watched her intro, every time I say that, I'm sure you go, but remember that when I say a safe person, I'm meaning a person who can be trusted, a person who is relying on Jesus for their wisdom, for their strength, and able to listen and be there for someone else in their time of need. And as I prayed about this series, Ruth kept coming up as this person who was trustworthy and who was loyal and who showed, even in her own brokenness, that she could be there for her mother-in-law who was grieving as well. So she came to mind as a safe person. So I want to also talk about Boaz. He's another key part in this story. And he also comes to mind as that kind of person. What I love most about Boaz is his legacy, is his family history, in this trustworthiness, in this loving others who are different, who are from another land. Because there's Ruth, right, from Moab, and he has that family history because of who his mama was. I love it. I love that Rahab is in Ruth's family tree and how she was trustworthy and how God redeemed her story so much. And now here you have Boaz passing on the grace and redemption that he's received in his family onto Ruth, who really needs it in this moment, and to Naomi, who really needs it in this moment. And I just love to hear your thoughts as you're reading Ruth, what you think about this idea of redemption, leaving a legacy, how it changes our families. And I see that in Boaz's story, especially as he loves Ruth and how he didn't have to take her in and become her husband. He was called a redeemer, and that means a next of kin that can either accept you or choose not to, especially as a woman alone in that culture and that day and time. You're relying on that redeemer, that next of kin, to take care of you. And so it's pretty amazing, especially Ruth being from Moab and seeing Boaz's history and how God wove that story together. As I see Boaz, as Ruth is gleaning from the field and gathering after the workers, and he really shows himself as this trustworthy person that she can come to, even very early on in the story too. Especially as they get to know each other and all these harvesting and as Naomi asks her, to follow the steps in this becoming next of kin, this redeemer. He just has those characteristics of a person who is, again, not relying on himself, who is wise and who is trustworthy and a safe person. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on Boaz and Ruth and on this safe series that we are in. and let me know what you're thinking as you're reading and what God was sharing with you about what being a safe person really means to you in your life and implementing these things in your life. What it means to be courageous in our vulnerability and being courageous in saying, I don't have the answers for you, but I am sitting right here. I'm here for you. And that's the definition to me of this safe person we're called to be, and what really inspired this series as I've watched in my own life, just been choosing to get vulnerable myself and connect with new people in new ways. It has grown my life substantially, and I am so grateful. And God reminded me of all the people that I had in my life, in those moments in my past, and the ones in my present that are growing to create this new future and community that we're made for. And that's what really inspired this series. And I've been excited to dive into Ruth and what community looked like there and her story, Boaz and Naomi and her community that, she brought Ruth into. It's so fascinating to me and so amazing, and I'm really inspired by it, inspired by you and your story. So I look forward to hearing them. Make sure to put them in the comments or tag me in a video or email me at lovesarahkate@gmail.com. I read every single one of them because they are treasures and I learn from you. And we are working together to build not platform connection, but real connection between us and Jesus. And I look forward to getting to know you all and continuing in our Safe series. And I look forward to hearing those stories.